Hi guys, Darren Mitchell here, and I trust you're enjoying a really productive week. I've got a question for you today, and it's a question that I've noticed that many sales leaders don't get asked, and certainly don't ask themselves enough. And that is, who have you identified as your likely successor when it's time for you to move on? Now, it's a question that I got asked in my very first day as a sales leader many years ago. And my general manager at the time, a guy called Danny, lovely man, sat me down day one, and he looked me in the eye and says, Darren, welcome to sales leadership. Who are you going to identify as your likely successor? Now, it was a question that absolutely stumped me because that was the last thing I was thinking about on my day one as a sales leader. I was focused on how do I build the reputation within the team? How do I build trust within this team? How do I extract maximum performance within this team? And then he stumped me with that question, who's your likely successor? But here's the thing, the more I've worked with sales leaders, whether it be in group workshops or certainly one-on-one, the more I understand the purpose of leadership is not just to extract maximum potential out of the team, but it's also to identify people who have A, the capability, B, the potential, and C, the aptitude to want to develop leadership qualities for themselves. So my role as a sales leader, and certainly your role as a sales leader, is to not only extract maximum potential and maximum performance and elite performance out of your team so you're driving sustainable and consistent results, but it's also to identify those people who you can start to delegate things to that will enable them to develop, their own leadership capabilities, their own leadership styles, which may be completely different from yours, and that's perfectly fine. But as part of this culture you're developing of independence, they're starting to get a capability flow whereby they can start making decisions that you no longer have to make for them. And so you're starting to leverage yourself and duplicate yourself. So guys, what does this mean? Certainly from a leadership point of view and servant leadership, which we talked about last week. What it means is no longer are you going to be the single source of failure, which is often the case as a sales leader. You're not going to be the single source of truth, but you've developed a team culture where you've got people who are starting to think more for themselves, who are taking on more of a proactive approach to how they're dealing with each other, with certainly key stakeholders and customers. And in the process, your reputation will increase because you've actually invested yourself in developing the capabilities of others. So the question I'll ask you today, whether you're brand new to sales leadership or whether you've been in sales leadership for a while, who have you identified as your likely successor? And if you haven't done that yet, that's the key priority for the next week, is to identify who that key person is going to be so you can start pouring yourself into them and developing their leadership capabilities. Now, it doesn't have to be somebody within your direct team. It could be somebody within your sphere of influence who you can work with, who you can coach and who you can mentor to develop that leadership capability. So I'd love to hear your comments. Any questions around this, please feel free to comment below. And until next time, hope your week continues to be a really productive selling week. All the best.